Hey guys, Will here, you're watching Boosted Autos. Now, as you can see, the wrap of the MX5 is complete now, and I'm really excited about how it looks. I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. So I'm working my ass off at the moment to get all of those videos ready for you. What I'm going to be doing is I took your advice on board, and I'm going to be splitting it up into a couple of different videos covering the fundamentals of wrapping in various different sections. So we'll be talking about how to wrap a big curve panel, how to wrap a flat surface, how to wrap small intricate parts and stuff like that. But the focus of this video is the installation of the Mazdaspeed Side Skirts. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so there is quite a bit of tools and equipment that you do need for this installation, but don't freak yourself out. It's nothing overly complicated, all just simple hand tools that you can pick up at any shop. So first thing you want to make sure you note is that you do need to keep the instruction manual. There's some templates at the back of it which you'll need to cut out, and we'll get on to how to do that later on, but don't throw this away if you are the type of person that doesn't read instructions, because you do need the templates that are in the back of it. So we'll also need an 8mm socket and ratchet, which is to tighten one of the bolts, a Phillips head screwdriver, a plastic trim removal tool, which is just a handy little thing to have if you're the sort of person that struggles to undo the clips. Don't need it, but it's a handy thing to have. A wheel brace, obviously, to remove the rear wheel from the car. You don't actually need to remove the front wheel at all, just the rear wheel. You'll need some jack stands, obviously, and a jack to get the car up off the ground as well. A permanent marker to mark the holes to drill. A drill set. Now you can see here I actually managed to snap my 3mm drill bit there, which the reason for that was because the steel that's underneath the car is very high tensile. So make sure you've got a good quality set of tools, and do expect that if you're going at a bit of an angle and you're not careful with how you do it, you might snap one of the bits. So the drill bits that we'll be needing are a 3mm and an 8mm. So set those aside. Obviously you're going to need a drill as well. It doesn't need to be a super high powered one, but remember again, it is high tensile steel that we're going to be drilling into, so a cheap shitty one isn't going to do the job. You are going to need a decent quality one. It doesn't need to be a mains powered one though. So we'll set the wheel brace aside as well. Now you're also going to want a set of safety glasses and a set of gloves as well for when you're drilling the underside of the car. It sounds a little bit pansy, but the metal does get very hot as you're drilling, and I found that it was burning my hands, and you know, there's a risk of it going in your eyes as well because you're kind of up underneath the car looking as you go. So be on the safe side, get yourself a set of safety goggles and some gloves as well. We're also going to need some isopropyl alcohol to clean off the surfaces before we stick sticky tape to them. You don't need this much. Obviously this is what I bought to do the wrapping of the car, and you can see I got through about a litre of it through the whole process of wrapping the car plus doing the side skirts. You only need probably, you know, like 50 mils or something like that, so you don't need a big drum of it like that. You can get away with just a little spray bottle from your local shops. We'll also need a microfiber towel for cleaning and general purposes like that. The last thing that we're going to need, which I'll talk about as well, is some rust proofing. So you can paint the surfaces that you drill into, and that will do the job just fine, but the risk is that if the paint chips off when you install the clips, then you know, you're going to have problems with rust later on. You also need to wait for paint to dry, whereas this stuff just coats the surface straight away. So I chose to use this rather than paint. So it's a rust proofing spray. It's got tar, lanolin and fish oil in it. So as well as preventing rust from occurring, it also helps to stop rust that's already set in place as well. So good thing to have around, especially on an older car like this. So that is everything you need. Let's get stuck into the installation. Okay, so with the car safely up on jack stands, turn the wheels so that they're out of the way, and that will allow easy access to remove the 3 plastic clips which are holding the plastic guard in place. Now, these simply twist around as you can see here, and you can use a plastic removal tool to help release them as well if they're a little bit tricky. Next, we want to take our template B and line it up as shown here. There's a little metal clip which you're going to be installing, which is what mounts the rear side of the side skirt in place. So it just pushes on, and the tension of the side skirt mounting to it is actually what holds it in place. So you don't need to worry about it being a little bit loose. In my case, it was quite stiff because of the wrap. So next we take our template C, which shows us where to drill the holes to mount the side rails. We tape it in place in line with the front seam of the front guard as shown here. Then we want to tape it into place following the curve of the side of the car. Now this is really important because it will affect where you drill the holes if you don't have this right. So take your time and make sure you tape it into place properly. Now take your template A, hold it in position, and you can see there's a little notch on the side of it there. So what you do is you simply line it up against the line and mark the position to be drilled in all 3 places. Now we start off by drilling a 3mm pilot hole and then drill it out to 8mm. Next we want to protect our freshly drilled holes with some rust proofer. So just spray it on, make sure you get a generous amount inside the holes as well to cover any little bits that you might have scored down with the drill. And wipe it off clean with some isopropyl alcohol once you're finished. So with the surface all prepped and clean, the next step is to install our packing rings. Now these are really important because they create a seal between the body of the car and the part that you're installing. So in this case, the side rail. So what that does is it stops any water from being able to get in and creating a potential for rust there. So a rust proofer is important, but these parts are equally as important in protecting the car. So with that all done, we peel the strips off our double-sided tape and line up our side rail. And once you're happy, install the push rivets. So with that done, close the door, and now we want to temporarily mount the side skirt onto the car so that we can line up the next holes to be drilled. So this is very easy to do. You just kind of sit it in place on top of the side rail and then push down to clip it into place. Now we temporarily install the M5 bolt into the rear of the side skirt, and our 16mm screw just slides in the hole over the front to hold it temporarily in position so that we can install our templates and mark our holes for drilling. So next we need to cut template D out of the rear of the instruction manual, slide it into position so it all lines up with our side skirt, making sure that our side skirt is in its correct position on the car, and tape it into position. And then we do the same thing with template E as well, making sure we cut along the dotted line to match the rear guard. So make sure the side skirt's in its correct position, slide the template in, and tape it into position. Next we want to mark and drill our 8mm pilot holes for the 6 positions along the bottom of the side skirt. So make sure you hold the side skirt right up against the sill, mark and drill your pilot holes. And once that's done, you can remove the 2 bolts and remove the side skirt again. Now tape down your templates so they're completely in position, and drill the 8mm pilot hole for the side mounting clips. Now we just need to drill all our pilot holes out to 8mm. Now you can see here I'm wearing gloves and a safety mask to do this. The metal filings that come out of these side skills are very hot, and they do burn your hands if you're not wearing gloves. You also need to be really careful not to get the shavings in your eyes as well. So safety first, guys. Be safe, don't take the chance. You only get one set of eyes and they're kind of important. Once again, rust proof all of your holes and clean them off with alcohol. Install your packing rings. Now the instructions do say that you don't need to install them on the front guard, but I chose to do so anyway. There was enough in the packet to do so, so I figured why not. Install the dual fasteners onto the side panels and peel the double-sided tape back off the side rail. Peel all of the double-sided tape backings off the side skirt and slide it into position. Now make sure before you push it down and adhere the double-sided tape, you've got your left to right position correct so that the side skirt is centered on the car. Push it into position. Install the M5 bolt back into the rear mounting clip. Now the kit comes with two different size tree clips, a 16mm and a 25mm. The two 25mm or the longer ones go in the rear two mounting positions on the rear guard, and the rest are used as you move along towards the front. So as long as you've drilled your holes right, the tree clips will slide in without any issue at all. They push into position and hold in place. So we're almost done, guys. The last thing we need to do is install the spring nut and the 16mm screw. Put your plastic rivet back into position. Reinstall your rear wheel, and you are finished. Okay guys, so that is how you install the Mazdaspeed Side Skirts, and my opinion is they look fantastic. They really suit the car, so hopefully you found the video interesting and useful. The installation is pretty straightforward. It's scary because you're drilling holes into panels, but if you take your time and you're cautious with what you're doing and you measure twice and cut once, you shouldn't have any problems. The instruction manual that comes with it is very clear. It kind of overcomplicates things a little bit, I think. So I think if you watch the video and read through the instructions, you should be in a pretty good position to do it all yourself without any problems. So look, in the next couple of videos, we'll be getting stuck into looking at the wrap in more detail. So stick around for that. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. We're also going to be drawing that 13,000, well, 10,000 subscriber competition as well once we hit 13,000 subscribers, which it looks like is going to happen in the next couple of weeks. So if you haven't already, now is an excellent time to subscribe to the channel too. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.